Yesterday I read the story that goes with chapter 3 of this book by this author. And at the end of that story, the author provides us with the 9 tasks for the retrieval of intuition as initiation for women. Let me just say that men and women both have both masculine and feminine characteristics within their psyche. I personally found this book, and especially this story, quite meaningful to me personally. And I used it for a template for writing a novel about 25 years ago. It is because this book and this story have been so meaningful to me as a man that I am now trying to make it available to you. Today I'm going to read her discussion of the first task, and in the following days I will be reading the other 8 tasks. The first task, allowing the too good mother to die. In the opening of the tale, the mother is dying and bequeaths to her daughter an important legacy. The psychic tasks of this stage in a woman's life are these: accepting that the ever-watchful, hovering, protective psychic mother is not adequate as a central guide for one's future instinctual life. The too good mother dies. Taking on the task of being on one's own, developing one's own consciousness about danger, intrigue, politic, becoming alert by oneself, for oneself, letting die what must die. As the too good mother dies, the new woman is born. In the tale, the initiatory process begins when the dear and good mother dies. She is not there to touch Vasilisa's hair anymore. In all our lives as daughters, there is a time when the good mother of the psyche, the one that served us appropriately and well in earlier times, turns into a too good mother, one which by virtue of her safeguarding values begins to prevent us from responding to new challenges and thereby to deeper development. In the natural process of our maturing, the too good mother must become thinner and thinner, must dwindle away until we are left to care for ourselves in a new way. While we always retain a core of her warmth, this natural psychic transition leaves us on our own in a world that is not motherly to us. But wait, this too good mother is not all she at first seems. Under a blanket, she has a tiny doll to give her daughter. There is something of the wild mother underneath this figure. But the too good mother cannot completely live this out, for she is the milk teeth mother, the blessed one every baby needs in order to gain a toehold in the psychic world of love. So even though this too good mother cannot live beyond a certain point in a girl's life, she does right by her offspring. She blesses her with the doll, and this, as we see, is a great blessing indeed. This dramatic psychologic dwindling of the mother first occurs as a girl moves from a fur-lined nest of pre-adolescence to the jolting jungle of adolescence. For some girls, however, the process of developing a new, more shrewd inner mother, the mother called intuition, was only half completed then, and the women so inducted have wandered for years, wishing for and wanting the complete initiatory experience, and patching themselves up as best they could. This arrest in a woman's initiation process occurs for various reasons, such as when there has been too much psychological hardship early in one's life. There's been no consistent, good enough mother in the early years. The initiation may also be stalled or uncompleted because there is not enough tension in the psyche. The too good mother has the stamina of a formidable weed and lives on, waving her leaves and overprotecting her daughter, even though the script says exit stage left now. In this situation, women often feel too timid to proceed into the woods and resist it all they can. For these, as well as other adult women for whom the rigors of life itself chip and distance them from their deeply intuitive lives, and whose plaint is often, "I am so tired of taking care of myself," there is a good and wise remedy. A retracing or reinitiation will reset the deep intuition, regardless of a woman's age. And it is the deep intuition that knows what is good for us, knows what we need next, and knows it with lightning speed if we will just take down its dictation. Vasilisa's initiation begins with learning to let die what must die. This means to let die the values and attitudes within the psyche which no longer sustain her. Especially to be examined are those long-held tenets which make life too safe, which overprotect, which make women walk with a scurry instead of a stride. The time when the childhood positive mother dwindles and her attitudes die away as well is always a time of great learning. Although there is a time in all our lives during which we rightfully remain close to the protective mother, for instance, when we are actual children or during recovery from an illness or psychological or spiritual trauma, or when our lives are in danger, and being quiet will keep us safe. And even though we retain large stores of her succor for life, there also comes a time to change mothers, so to speak. If we stay overly long with the protective mother within our own psyches, we find ourselves impeding all challenges to ourselves and therefore blocking further development. While I do not in any way mean to say that a woman should throw herself into a torturous or abusive situation, I do mean she must set for herself a something in life that she is willing to reach for and therefore take risks for. It is through this process that she sharpens her intuitive powers. Among wolves, when a wolf mother nurses her pups, she and they spend much time lazing about. Everyone slumps over everyone else in a great puppy pile. The outer world and the world of challenges are far away. However, when the wolf mother finally trains the pups to hunt and forage, she shows them her teeth more often than not. She snaps and demands they keep up. She shoves them down if they don't do what she requires. And so it is in order to pursue further development that we exchange the hovering internal mother, which was so apt for us when we were young, for another kind of mother, one who lives even deeper in the psychic wilderlands, one who is both escort and teacher. She is a loving mother, but also fierce and demanding. Most of us will not let the too good mother die just because it is time. Although this too good mother may not allow our most vivid energies to surface, it is so nice with her, so comfortable, why leave? Often we hear voices within our minds which encourage us to hold back, to stay safe. These voices say things like, "Oh, don't say that," or "You can't do that," or "Well, you're certainly not one of my children, friends, peers, if you do that," or "It's dangerous out there," or "Who knows what will become of you if you insist on leaving this warm nest," or "You're just going to humiliate yourself, you know," or even more insidious still, "Pretend you are taking risks, but secretly stay here with me." These are all voices of the frightened and rather exasperated too good mother within the psyche. She cannot help herself. She is what she is. Yet, if we merge with the too good mother for too long, our lives and our gifts for expression fall into the shadow, and we become scant instead of strong. and worse, what occurs when one compresses a vivid energy and allows it no life. Like the magic porridge pot in the wrong hands, it grows and grows and grows until it explodes, spilling all of its goodness onto the ground. So we must be able to see that for the intuitive psyche to be invigorated, the nice hovering protector must recede. Or perhaps more accurately, we eventually find ourselves pushed out of that nice cozy tete-a-tete, not because we planned it that way, not because we were completely ready. No one is ever completely ready, but because there is something waiting for us at the edge of the woods, and it is our fate to meet it. Guillaume Apollinaire wrote, "We took them to the edge and bade them fly. They held on. Fly, we said. They held on. We pushed them over the edge, and they flew." It is typical for women to be afraid to let the too comfortable and too safe life die. Sometimes a woman has reveled in the protection of the too good mother, and so desires to continue ad infinitum. She must be willing to feel anxious sometimes, otherwise she might as well have stayed in the nest. Sometimes a woman is afraid to be without security or without certainty, even for a short time. She has more excuses than dogs have hairs. She must just simply dive in and stand not knowing what will happen next. It is the only thing which will retrieve her intuitive nature. Sometimes a woman is so bound up in being the too good mother to other adults that they have latched onto her teats, and are not about to let her leave them. In this case, a woman has to kick them off with her hind leg and go on anyway. And since the dreaming psyche compensates for, among other things, that which the ego will not or cannot acknowledge, a woman's dreams during such a struggle will be filled compensatorily with chases, dead ends, cars that will not start, incomplete pregnancies, or other symbols which image life not going forward. In her guts, a woman knows there is a deadliness in being the too sweet self for too long. So, loosening our hold on the glowing archetype of the ever-sweet and too good mother of the psyche is the first step. We are off the teat and learning to hunt. There is a wild mother waiting to teach us. But in the meantime, the second task is to hold on to the doll while we learn its uses.